Hello, this is Larry Everett with Massively, and I'm going to show you a little bit of The Secret World, the new MMO by Funcom. And let's start you off with a little video of each of the two factions that I have access to. First, the Templars.
You came to us in search of a purpose. And mark this, there is no purpose greater than ours. The world will founder without structure and discipline. It needs leadership to guide it to a new age of stability. It needs those with the will to stamp out the darkness that breeds in the cracks. We do this because we are compelled by tradition, by loyalty, by laws. Without these, we are just animals. Evil reigns over animals, corrupting and compromising, toppling empires. So our empire must be incorruptible, must be uncompromising. Our conflict must be a righteous one. Your conviction will be tested, but among us, your faith will be unshaken. Among the Templars.
Alright, as you can see, the Templars are a little more like the rigid side of this whole secret world that's going on, and the less, like the exact opposite of that would be the Illuminati, which, here's a video for the Illuminati.
It's all about power. Grabbing it, keeping it, using it. Power is our currency, our DNA, our God. We control the world. We provide the blueprint and we give the instructions. We're the people in grainy photos on grassy knolls. We're the shadowy faces in smoky back rooms and darkened boardrooms. We're right here, hiding in plain sight, buying and selling favors. Blackmail, treason, deceit, these are our stock in trade. We work the magic of the drunken evenings with senators and chiefs of staff. We shake down demons and negotiate with sorcerers. We have stocks in hell and compromising photos of angels. We use any means necessary regardless of the cost because the world is a bad place and you can either do or get done. We're the Illuminati, and we're not done.
Alright, well, as you can see, the Illuminati are all about power, corruption, drugs, and scandals, that sort of thing. So, that actually sounds like the most interesting, at least at this point, it sounds like the most interesting faction for me personally. So, what I've done here is I'm going to start with character creator, as with all MMOs. But just to give you a little background, The Secret World, obviously, if you have not heard of it before, is all about everything is true. All the rumors, all the conspiracies, those are all true. And that's what this gameplay is about. It's set in modern day, obviously, as you can see by the clothing of the character creator. But I'm going to run through this here real quick. As you can see, we're changing. It's really simple. The character creator's, generally speaking, pretty simple. You change your faces, but what I think, as you can see, I was pointing out right there, is that with each face there is a different color palette. I think that's interesting. Usually you don't find that. Usually you find the same color palette, no matter what race, no matter what faction, no matter whatever you run, species, if you're into like Tor or something along that line. And I just changing some things around here, different hairstyles. I'm not personally, by the way, I'm going to give a little bit of my opinion in here, just for flavor and for fun. However, not all of it is exactly, factual. It's all my opinion, but I will obviously give facts in here as well. One of the things I noticed right off the bat, but maybe it was just because of the male hairstyles, it doesn't. The hairstyles don't exactly move or anything like that. They obviously have just one color attached to them. I mean, some other games, I'm thinking specifically of EQ2, that allow you to do highlights and shadows with two different kinds of color. All the all the beards are a little more modern, as you can see. However, there isn't a huge wide selection of different facial hair and that sort of thing. However, they are all closely cropped, kind of what you would see today versus what you would see in a fantasy MMO where the beards are, you know, gargantuan like you would see on a dwarf. Then we can talk a little bit here real quick about clothing. As you can see, there's not very many clothing options when you first start the game. Obviously, this is an area for microtransactions for Funcom, so if you're looking for different types of outfits and things along that line to start off with, you're definitely I can definitely foresee Funcom saying, hey, you know what, we're going to you can buy some that like that. If you want a leather jacket or whatever, you can buy that. Another thing, as we scroll out here and look at the pants, you can see that there's really only one body type. I'm not sure exactly what the idea is behind only having one body type in the character creator, but it's very possible that this is because they want to save on you know, resources and whatnot for engine stability and that sort of thing. We'll move on to the female character here. Obviously, also one body type, and one of the things about the faces as I'm scrolling through here that you might notice is that the variations in the faces are actually rather small. I'm kind of curious if you're going to be able to notice it from a distance, because lots of times as you're playing in MMO, most of what you see of other characters is from a distance. You don't exactly see them in close-up. Now, your personal character, obviously, there are going to be, as you'll see here in just a few minutes, you'll see a cutscene and that sort of thing. But, you know, it's not. I mean, that's the only time that you're really going to see the face close-up and to be able to distinguish between different people. And however, I got to say that as far as variety of hairstyles as we're going through here, I think the women definitely have some pretty interesting hairstyles. They're all very different. That's the one thing that I do like about the hairstyles offered for the Secret World, is that they are very different hairstyles. You're not running into two hairstyles that are very, very similar. Maybe one has a longer ponytail and one has a shorter ponytail. They're very, very different. The hair colors as well are very natural hair colors versus you're not going to find like purple hair. However, you know, that being said, I think that would, I mean, especially with it being set in a modern setting, maybe that's something that they'll add in for microtransactions or something along that line. But as of this point, I don't really see that happening. Makeup, obviously, you know, it's really funny. You know, obviously, I don't wear makeup personally, but I do find that the makeup in this is very. There's not a lot of variety, and they're kind of off. It doesn't look exactly right either. That's one of the things that's kind of thrown me, and you'll see a little bit later whenever it goes into the cutscene that yeah, the textures are a little off. And if you notice that flickering a little bit there, I had to blur out because this is a mature game. There is frontal nudity in this game, so kids or parents of kids, be aware of that whenever you're buying this game. That there is quite a bit of swearing, and there is also some frontal nudity for women. Sorry. So there you go. That's character creator. I'm running through some clothing right now for the women. Obviously, like I said, there's not a whole lot to start out. Maybe they'll give us more at launch. Maybe microtransactions. Who knows? One of the things that I want to point out here that I really, really like is that you have a first name and a last name and a nickname that you put in for your character. I went with Sarah Sevron Reynolds, and I think that's a really, really neat feature. That it is in a modern setting, and so you're not necessarily running around with just some odd name. And so we're going with Sarah Sevron Reynolds. And here's the opening sequence.
Attack on the headquarters of the multinational Orachi Group.
Yes, this is to the opening sequence to the Illuminati, and you'll see this is, you'll see what I'm talking about here with the textures a little bit. They seem just a little off, like they're not quite finished. I'm not sure if this is going to change all the at launch, because it seems that all the videos and such that we've seen so far contain very similar textures, and this is the story of pretty much how your character got her powers. As you can see, she's in her apartment, and this is the bees thing. I don't know. There's a bees theme throughout the whole game that I've seen so far, which is a little. I'm not sure how to take that. And it obviously started with 2 weeks ago, 4 days ago. It's leading up to today when you're actually logging into the game. And her powers are getting stronger, and she's learning how to control her powers. But the real question that I'd like to ask is, what is this college that you went to? If you can see on her jacket, it says college 66. Yes, the college. I went to that college. Two days ago. We're getting closer. And obviously she is learning how to use her powers a little better. Obviously, as you can see here, she's got control of that flamey thing now, whatever that means. She can run it through her body. So apparently it's okay. So if you see a bee that's glowing, you might want to eat it. You get special powers. And listen to this VO. I really, actually, I'm not real. Like I said, I'm not really impressed with the textures. But I do like the VO in this game. The voiceover is really good.
So I'll cut straight to the chase. I work in talent acquisition, specializing in a highly unconventional sector for a very particular client, and they're particularly interested in your kind of talent. Stuff up, putting it back together, altering the fabric of space and time, basic thaumaturgy. My client is only interested in the best of the best. That's where I come in. Your talent is raw, but it's obvious. My client has the means to refine that talent and make the most of what you've got, and I'm not talking about money.
Okay, well that pretty much sums up the introduction to the Secret World. I'm glad you tuned in to watch. We have a lot of Secret World stuff coming out today. Jeff Rehard has some his impressions of the starting worlds of Secret World, and Matt Daniel. And I think Justin Olivetti is also putting up some stuff about the Secret World, because we've all been in it this week and trying it out, testing it, making sure that it is the game that you were looking for. Like I said, final impressions, I think that the graphics are a little need of work. I'm not real impressed with the graphics, and also a little bit of the, I would also say the meshes, the wire frames that are used to make the characters and used to make the objects within the game are in vastly need of work. But the voiceover is incredible, and I haven't got into it yet, but later on we'll talk about combat and that sort of thing, and I'll give you my impressions of that. Again, thank you for tuning in. This has been Larry with Massively, and you have been watching The Secret World by Funcom.